Hello there, everybody. It's me, Garrett Kidney, the co-host of You've Got to Be Kidding Me on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
And I am Liam Jones, my full name, and I'm also a part of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network as a co-host for You've Got to Be Kidding Me.
We are a TNA history podcast that covers TNA 1 month at a time. We cover all the drama, all the matches, all the Vince Russo nonsense you could ever want in your life.
Have you heard of TNA? I bet you have, but would it be funnier if two people made jokes over it the whole time? Probably.
So if that sounds like fun to you, check it out on this very Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network, and Liam will do bits and whatnot.
Eddie Gilbert was a lot of things. He was smart. He was driven. He was considered by many to be a booking genius, a prodigy who was a part of a pro wrestling office by the age of 20 and the lead booker of a national promotion by the age of 25. He was charismatic. He was charming. He was fiercely loyal to his family. Just about everywhere Eddie went in pro wrestling, he brought his brother Doug Gilbert with him. No matter how busy he was with his schedule, he would try to make time to drive his grandfather for his weekly haircut. A grandfather who, by the way, was a carnival wrestler, which made Eddie Gilbert a third-generation wrestler. But Eddie Gilbert had a lot of problems as well. He obviously had a serious drug problem. A drug problem perhaps precipitated by a 1983 car accident that nearly killed him, where he sustained injuries that would plague him for the rest of his career. And also the pressures of being a 5'9" wrestler in the 80s and 90s, which led Gilbert into so many of the same traps as many of his peers. He was a womanizer in ways that would undoubtedly be looked down upon more harshly today than they were some 30, 35 years ago. He suffered from rampant paranoia and had a short temper, possibly fueled by his drug usage. He would comb the dirt sheets on a weekly basis, looking and finding clues and innuendo of burials that weren't really there. He had a rampant distrust of nearly every promoter he ever worked for. And his short temper led him to walking out of promotions and burning bridges to the point that he walked out of his hometown, Memphis wrestling, so many times that in my research, I found it impossible to accurately document each instance, to the point that he finally walked out one too many times, driving the place that would always welcome him back after his latest meltdown that would burn a bridge elsewhere, finally had enough and refused to take him back. Eddie Gilbert quite literally dedicated his life to pro wrestling and was involved in some of the most memorable angles and moments of his era. He's one of the most fascinating figures in pro wrestling history. And in this special edition of Joevember to Remember, we take a look at the life, the career, and the death of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Hi, my name is Tyler Fornes, and I am the co-host of The Good, the Bad, and the Hunky here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Every week, my co-host Fred Moreland and I discuss all the happenings of All Elite Wrestling and everything going on in the universe of Tony Khan. We talk about Dynamite, we talk about Rampage, and we will talk about Collision when the time comes as well, along with all the appearances outside of AEW from all the best talents in All Elite Wrestling. This is one of the more cohesive wrestling companies in the entire world, and we discuss every intricacy about it, including the unique booking of Tony Khan that is both a huge positive and a major detriment. Check us out every single Thursday here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.